Hello, hello, world. I am super fortunate today. I get to do an expert interview on with one of the people that I've grown to love, and he's become a dear friend. I have Mr. Scott Wyler on here. Scott, are you out there? And
Afternoon. Good afternoon.
good afternoon. So Scott and I, we've known each other for a while now. Been a couple of years actually already. Jizu. Uh, And so Scott is my partner on Pronto Wash USA. We own the rights to the United States and Canada. And Scott is the person that actually set up the management uh, company that actually operates a significant amount of our locations on a day-to-day basis. So today we're going to be definitely diving in a good bit on the detailing industry, but Scott has a wealth of knowledge. He's an excellent salesman. He cleans up really well, and we had to give him a special disclaimer about vulgarity coming into this. But he says he's a good boy today. So Scott, tell us what I left out in your bio.
Yeah, so the vulgarity thing makes sense. I'm originally from Buffalo, New York, and I guarantee that if you know somebody from Buffalo, the language is generally colorful. It's a part of my father was the king of colorful language growing up. But we'll keep that to a minimum today if I can hold back. My background is pretty wide. I did 20 years in the government contracting space, working with defense companies that were trying to get business from the United States government. I started my career as in sales. I literally had one of the toughest sales jobs ever. It was selling insurance door to door. It doesn't matter what field you're in. The word sales is so broad. Are you selling something? Are you developing business? Are you selling yourself? Are you trying to introduce a new idea or a concept? You're always selling. So although I love the word sales, it's an incredibly broad term.
Little Glengarry, Glen Ross, ABS, always be selling.
Maybe
Put the coffee down.
always be A, always B, C, closing.
So you have a lot of diverse background, which I think is great for our audience. I met you on the detailing side, but I used to be a restaurant guy. So
I was
again,
a restaurant guy also for a while as well.
yeah, tell us a little bit about that. I think that's a great experience because we do a big restaurant fan base.
Yeah, so I mean, you name it. I mean, I worked in restaurants, bussing tables, waiting tables, bartending. I had an ownership position in some bars and restaurants, and so again, it all comes back to sales in one way or another.
Yeah, if you ever go to Tampa, you go out with Scott, and there's not a place you go that he does not know everyone. He should be the mayor of Tampa. So, yeah. Always a good time.
That closet behind me is filled with skeletons that would preclude me from being able to do anything in the political realm, but I appreciate the vote of confidence.
Yeah, and some of you folks you may have seen. So Scott has been instrumental in some of the worldly travels that we did during COVID. We went to Colombia together. We were in Mexico together, and he helped put together a big international deal. And recently, he was actually telling me about a cool contract that he was working for another client of his. And I actually want you to talk a little bit about that because it's a good BD strategy. Dialing into some of the bid systems. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Which are we talking about? I'm working on several.
Well, you're working on a big project down in Florida for a client of yours. We won't give specifics, but
that's the one that's related to vehicle cleaning.
Yes. So but the way you started the story with me was you happened to see it, and
yeah,
and then you were like, oh, I can fit that to a client, and then you ran through that. So give us a little bit of the process there, because I don't think enough people out there understand that RFPs and things like that are being posted all the time, especially if it's a municipal project. They have to. That's a requirement.
Yeah. I can't talk too much about it.
No, don't talk about that specifically. Talk about the whole bid.
Yeah. So the largest spender of money in the world is the United States government, and as a trickle down from there, municipalities, states, they have their own needs, right? And they contract those out, and a lot of people do not engage in seeking that business because it seems daunting and difficult in order to do it. From the government side, they feel that they made everything as easy as possible, right?
Yes,
I was working something today. I was working for a client today with the Veterans Administration, and they were asking for, now this particular company has all of the, I don't want to get too off the run, but this particular company has all of their catalogs, their things are all online. They don't print things anymore because it's 2021, right? Yet the Veterans Administration was looking, along with this particular application, to do business with them, wanted to be provided with catalogs, schedules, things like that in printed form. Send us your catalogs. And I ended up, having to contact them, and 37 and a half minutes later, they answered. And I was told that instead of doing that, just, add the web address to it. But had I not called, what we were thinking was that we were going to need to print all these catalogs. But it's things like that doing business with the government can be tricky. And but when you crack that nut, there's an amazing amount of money in it. And at the end of the day, it comes down to finding out who that client is and what their needs are, which is nothing different than everything that we do every single day.
Yeah, so great. So let's talk about that. So Scott and I recently we were on a trip to Miami, and I was going down anyway. I had some some sales calls I was making, and Scott's not too far away. So I was like, Scott, can you come meet me for a day? I wanted to get some sales training done for our frontline employee staff. So Scott was like, sure, I'll come by. So talk to us a little bit about some of the sales tactics. You can even talk about the GII complaint.
Yeah. So our internally, the acronym that we use when we talk about just the interaction with the customer is GIDI. Again, we're in the automotive detailing. We're in the automotive detailing realm, and we have clients that approach our location, and we have the sort of a breakdown. G is the greeting. I is the initial inspection of the vehicle. D is the delivery of services, and then the I is the final inspection. And within all of those, there is a process to how we want to conduct ourselves in order to maximize our opportunities in front of the customer. One of the biggest things, the second I when I was putting this process together, the second I is inspection, greeting, inspection. And I struggled with that as to whether or not that I should be introduction. And when I say introduction, not necessarily introducing ourselves, but getting into the sales flow of introducing unconsidered needs, right? Because that's essentially what you're doing in many sales situations is disrupting your customer's status quo. In other words, their natural aversion to do something perhaps differently than they normally do, and you're introducing an unconsidered need. And at the same time, as you introduce these unconsidered needs, you're also touting your solution, and you're driving sort of their need for change, right? And so, this was all part and parcel of what we started getting into in the video. Unfortunately, at that we had time constraints, so we couldn't really drill down into the true sales philosophy of doing that.
Well, we have a little bit more time. Yeah, I'm going to load the video. This will be the first time you get to see it. So
how sweaty was I?
Sweaty enough. You looked like you were working, which is
index was like 104.
No airflow, right?
No airflow.
Yes. But so we went through that whole process. We went through the G, the I, the D, the I. So hold on here. I'm gonna get it up here for everybody. So bear with me. I gotta like juggle screens. So let's roll what we got. This is V1. I have yet to mess with it. Scott has yet to mess with it. So yeah. So I'm going to, okay. Can we see the screen? Can
No.
the
Well, maybe.
okay.
Yeah, this is looking cool. Hi, I'm Scott Wyler with Profit Wash. Today we're going to talk about GIDI, the four basic.
Hold on one second. I want to make sure we're going to buffer here a second, I'm sure. And one of the things I want to point out to everybody, you know, I've done a couple calls recently in this kind of format, Scott, with cousin Jimmy Borneman, and you know, we walk people through hiring, right? You know, the whole process of hiring, and one of the things that we hit on in that was, you know, using video, getting them on video as quick as you can, so you can lay eyes on them. You know, then we were talking about training, and you know, I think it's important. People learn in different ways when you train them, right? Some people need to see it, some people need to read it, some people need to hear it, some people need to just do it. And we encourage people all the time, you know, and I've all different clients, and we use them in all of our businesses. You know, video, you know, this is us. This is, you know, pretty much as raw as it gets. A couple guys, you know, just understanding what we wanted to communicate and getting it down on video. And in some cases, you know, I'm sure we'll see some flaws, but the reality is we took action, we made it happen, which I think is a real key element. And now it's ready for the world. We didn't so overly focus on, you know, per se the production value, even though it's a good production. You know, we've got better looking actors. But yeah, better videographers. You know, I'm behind the camera, Scott's in front of it. Tim's yelling at me. But you know, the moral for everybody out there is, you know, hey, MVP at some level, minimal viable product is a great way to get something started. You can always go back and tweak and fix. And Scott and I both said,
Right.
we do some things different, and we will. But at the very least, you know, we have a universal product now that's going to go across, you know, 20 states that we operate in. And we're going to be able to deliver this message consistently to every single new hire that comes through. So if Scott shows up in San Francisco in a week and he, you know, says, hey, you know, did you guys get the training on the GIDI? And they say yes, like he should absolutely expect to see, you know, at least some resemblance, right? It takes some time to do it as well as Scott, but he should at least see the bones of what he introduced. And that's like a hard thing to do is, you know, how do you go from one location to two locations? And most times it's like the owner operator just does twice as much, you know, but how do you get that level of like consistency down line when you have, you know, 30 locations across the country and everybody's spread out on different time zones? And so this is a good version of that we're going to share with everybody here.
This also lends to one of the biggest issues that people have in general, and it's business scalability.
Yeah, I mean, you have to be able, if you're building it and you cannot get out of your own way, you can't scale it and do anything with it, then, you know, why waste your time? You really, at the end of the day, you want to replace yourself in the entirety of the process. You want to be able to get yourself out so you can live the life that you want, because business should be providing you a lifestyle. It shouldn't be, you know, you're grinding it out, working, you know, and we all work hard. There's no doubt about it. We all put in time, energy, and effort. But at the same time, the goal is really to get out of your own way. So I'm going to roll it here, and the comment section's open. So if I see Jimmy's out there watching, if you can just give us a comment, if you can hear the audio well enough. I don't want to burn a bunch of minutes if people can't hear it that well.
Yeah, this is looking cool. Hi, I'm Scott Wyler with Profit Wash. Today we're going to talk about GIDI, the four basic tenets, the four basic fundamentals of our interacting with customers. GIDI, giddy as we call it. GIDI, the G is for greeting. Greeting, inspection, delivery, inspection. GIDI. We're going to go through and talk about what each of these pieces mean. Let's go. Ready to get giddy? Okay, first thing we're going to talk about in GIDI is the greeting. And the greeting is not just you actually greeting the customer. The greeting begins far before that. When the customer is coming up and looking for service at our location, does the location look clean? Does it look branded? Is everything where it belongs? This is all part of the greeting process. Are we properly uniformed? Do we look trustworthy? Is it a place that they want to take their vehicle? The greeting begins from far away as the customer is approaching our location. The actual one-on-one greeting with the customer begins with our interaction as the customer comes to our location. And we're going to walk through that right now.
So we're buffering here a little bit, but actually it's a good pause break there. It's interesting, Scott, because I know I could see some folks that are in our group that are restaurant folks. That application of understanding and greeting the customer, I call it the 10-foot rule. Anyone who walks within 10 feet of you, whether you're in a restaurant, you're at the food court. The best people at it are the Asian folks at the food court, giving away samples. Nobody can walk by without them, engaging them. So I don't care what industry you're in, I think you'll pick up some fantastic pieces from this.
Hi, welcome to Trauma Wash. My name's Scott. How are you? Good, good. That's not great. We don't worry about it.
We're buffering pretty hard.
So you might have been look inside your vehicle. Sorry, we're going to take care of that. So what I would recommend today is our models. It's our most popular package.
So pause there for a second. So one of the things that absolutely blew my mind, sorry guys, one of the things that absolutely blew my mind was when you whipped out the dry erase marker. Okay, so for anybody in the detailing world, I'm telling you, Tim and I both were just like, oh my God, that has got to be the best thing on the planet. Like, so, he went around, it's a dry erase marker. It's not going to do squat to the paint. And, he marked and circled imperfections. So that little strategy right there. So first off, it's almost like the equivalent to me is I've seen people do test sections, oh, let me show you what this will do, and they do like a small section of their car and they buff it. Well, what's the person going to do now? They need to have the rest of the car buffed because you just did a small section of it. But that's like a great one because it points them out. So God, I was like, oh my Lord. And it points them out and then you still got to get it off. So they're not going anywhere until you clean it off. If I'm cleaning it, I might as well be getting those marks off for you.
Right.
So I thought that was absolutely brilliant.
Part of it goes back to what we were originally talking about in introducing the unconsidered needs, right? Perhaps that customer is unaware that they have water spots. Perhaps that customer is in the restaurant industry. It's why, when the person is heads down and they're looking at the menu, right? It's why we come out and ask them if they'd like something from the bar, a drink to get them started, right? What's our biggest profiting area, right? The bar, drinks, man. And you perhaps are introducing an unconsidered need. I never ever drink margaritas. I was at a beach bar the other day, And the waitress came out and said, do you want a cocktail? And I was like, I don't know, I'm not sure, and she went into this whole thing about their margaritas. And sure as hell, I ended up drinking 8 margaritas that day at $12 a piece because she just introduced it. I didn't think I was in the mood for a margarita. I normally don't drink them. They usually give me heartburn. But she made it, she gave me the rundown of how, said, I don't do our margarita, you give me heartburn. So, oh no, we make our own sour mix, and gave me the value proposition behind their margarita. And it sounded so good that I got 1, and then I got 7 more.
Of course, 7 more. You're by yourself, I'm sure. Okay, so we're going to jump in. Here's where it actually makes the service recommendation, which I also love.
What I would recommend today is our auto smart super. It's our most popular package. It's essentially a full detail. It's a full exterior bumper-to-bumper detail. We're going to get the windows, wheels, tires, the whole line. On the inside, we're going to go ahead and clean up all these surfaces. We put a nice leather vinyl on it. We're going to vacuum and shampoo all the carpets, and that would be this package right here, the auto smart super. Now, what I did notice, and I circled it on the hood, is that you have a lot of water spots on it. What I would recommend for that is our clay bar. Our clay bar is the next package up. It is the Auto Spa Ultimate, right? And that'll get rid of all these clay spots or all of these surface contaminants. We're going to play the entire vehicle bumper to bumper. All I need to get you started on that is just your name, number, and about how much time you have. So this is all part of the greeting process, the process of greeting, doing the inspection of the vehicle, okay, before we actually deliver the product. So we did the G and the I. What is the greeting? What do we notice in the greeting? When a customer approaches, we're now going to get into a bit of a sales. What does that mean for us? We're talking about changing the sales dynamic of who has the upper hand in the situation. In any sales situation, you're trying to gain sort of the upper hand over the.
Yeah, the whole sales dynamic. Talk a little bit about that, Scott.
Yeah, so in a sale, and when you're talking about selling, there's a dynamic that's involved, right? And part of the when I say dynamic, it means so many different things. And in our particular situation here, when a vehicle approaches our location, that vehicle is normally in a drive lane, pointed in a direction where they can easily ask a quick question, and they are in a position to be able to drive away. So the first thing that we always want to do is we want to get them into a spot, right? They're looking at our location as being, a car wash, drive up, and it's sort of neutral territory, okay? When we get a vehicle into a spot, it sort of changes that sales dynamic. All of the things that we did there change the sales dynamic. Hi, welcome to Prana Wash. My name is Scott. Now I'm welcoming you to my location and letting you know, hey, you're on my turf, okay? Introducing myself cordially, and then getting into the inspection of the vehicle, because I don't know how they're exactly perceiving me yet, but I know how I want to be perceived. In that situation, I want to be perceived as the expert on the spot that's there to make service recommendations. Again, perhaps introducing those unconsidered needs that we talked about before. And I want to make sure that it's shifting that sales dynamic, right? And so there's all kinds of things that are involved in that. You're doing many things at the same time. You're pointing out things that are needs that they may not have known. You're trying to create excitement. And remember, people make subconscious emotional decisions before the brain's rational and analytical part takes over. So in that situation, we're trying to go ahead, explain the service, explain the service, explain what we feel that their needs are, get them a little bit excited about what they're about to get from us, and then close essentially that sale, that deal, okay, before the rational portion of the brain takes over. All right, that doesn't mean speed through it. That doesn't mean don't answer questions if they're there. If we went around and we did our job properly, we are closing that sale. We are getting the customer to purchase based upon our recommendations because of our expert knowledge before they're even able to sort of rationalize, what the entirety of the situation is. That's what I mean by changing that sales dynamic, disrupting perceived value and introducing unconsidered needs.
Excellent.
What does that mean for us? We're talking about changing the sales dynamic of who has the upper hand in the situation. In any sales situation, you're trying to gain sort of the upper hand over the customer, so to speak. When the customer comes in and they're in a prone position where they can simply drive away, what we want to do is we want to bring them onto our territory, more or less. That's why we always want to make sure that we get the customer into a spot. We don't want to do a transaction out in the aisle for a number of reasons. Get them into your spot. That not only subconsciously changes the sales dynamic, because now they're more or less on our territory, but also it puts them in a position where we're now in a sales mode where we're about to make that sale. Secondly, when we do greet the customer, we're also welcoming them to Pronto Wash, right? That also changes the mentality of where they are. Just like welcoming someone into your home, they're now sort of on your turf. Again, changing the sales dynamic. We're greeting them, we're interacting with them, we're asking them if they've used us before, right? Perhaps they have, perhaps they haven't. If they have, they already know the deal. We're going to go ahead and go take a look around the vehicle. We're going to inspect the vehicle. Why do we do that? Because we're professional auto detailers. That's what we do. Again, we're trying to show that we are the professionals here and that we are the ones that are going to take a look at the vehicle and make a recommendation. We're not selling based on price. We're selling based on need. And perhaps your customer may not know what they need. In many cases, the customer is not aware of some surface scratches that we can buff up. This is the point where we want to make those recommendations. There's things like headlights. Look, make sure you have your eyeballs on every set of headlights there, because you'd be how many headlights require a restoration? And then that's just a safety issue. You're saying, look, even if you don't use this to detail your vehicle today, I want to go ahead and take care of this headlight restoration. So we want to continually push the sales dynamic in our favor. And we want to, most importantly, we want to show them that we are the experts. We are the ones that are the experts. This is what we do. We are professionals. We're not the bucket and drag guy on the side of the road. We are the professionals, and we know this industry better than anyone else. So when we go around.
So that's not a bad stop if you want to stop.
I got you. Yeah.
So one of the things that's also very important that we want to do during this time is we want to illustrate the value. It's more than just introducing an unconsidered need. We also want to illustrate the value. I like to call this the hero effect, right? Let your customer be the hero. You've seen movies, Die Hard, whatever the case may be, right? You've read books where there's a hero in the story, right? You got a hero. He struggles with a problem, right? He meets a wise mentor. The mentor gives him new insight. And armed with that knowledge, they go out and face the problem, and the hero overcomes the problem. You want to make your customer the hero in that situation, right? They have a problem. Perhaps you introduced it. Perhaps they know that they have surface scratches, things like that, right? Meets the wise mentor. In that case, that's you, right? Gives new insight, gives expert knowledge, explains, what it is that we're going to do to assist in solving that problem. And then armed with that knowledge, they're going to face that problem, and your customer walks away sort of being the hero of the situation. And the hero of in their mind, they're the hero of that whole sales interaction. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it's excellent. I absolutely agree with that. And that, again, you can apply that anywhere. You're a perceived expert. There's no doubt about it. And I think a lot of guys, especially, in the detailing industry, they don't know how to present that. I don't think you could have put it any more clearly about how to position yourself that way. So,
right.
Fantastic.
Interact with your customer. Figure out, ask them simple questions. What do you do for a living? Oh, you're a realtor. Oh, so you have a lot of people in your vehicle. Well, we're going to go ahead and make sure your vehicle looks great. A lot of the issues, simply point them out and say, don't worry about it. We're going to take care of it for you. And excited about the process. The wheels, these wheels haven't been cleaned in a very long time. It looks like your wheels could use some cleaning, some work. Don't worry, we're gonna take.
Yeah, the video over video is fun.
Yeah.
So I try to pause it in the most embarrassing spots for you also, by the way.
I'm all sweaty.
Yeah.
That's all right.
So, one of the things though, again, part of the whole moral of today is really talk about some sales tactics and give people, some good doses. So I hope everybody kind of got the gist of that. Where are you in that? You've already done it. You've like the only thing you haven't delivered it. So talk about delivery, Scott.
Yeah, so delivery, when the delivery is the key to everything. Okay, if I come and I tell you that I'm going to deliver you the absolute most delicious steak, right? What we've already done ahead of time, and this is one thing that I did want to touch on with the sales portion of it, is that it's okay to create price uncertainty with your customer. People that are coming in have a perception of what they should pay. So what you're doing is you are essentially touting your product. You're touting your solution. Perhaps they're used to going to Longhorn Steakhouse, and you're at a different steakhouse. And it's not about throwing garbage into your neighbor's yard. Okay, you always want to avoid that, because if you throw garbage in your neighbor's yard, they're going to throw it right back. And many people that do a comparative analysis of, well, we're better than them, because it's a very obvious, very tacky way to approach a sales situation. And what you are trying to do is you are trying to create value and create excitement and create the need and want and desire for your product. Getting into the delivery portion, you've got to deliver that product. Okay, that is where the rubber hits the road. If you come out and say that you're going to do X, Y, and Z and don't deliver X, Y, and Z, they ain't never coming back. And we all know that 70 to 80% of revenue comes from existing business. So the one thing the thing you always want is for your customer to come back. So delivering, making good on what it is that you said you were going to do is key, and it's essential to the whole business dynamic.
Yeah. So one of the things, we were having some fun afterwards, and I should have had you get a couple drinks in you before this, because that's kind of the secret to get Scott to absolutely.
I tend to do better.
He's very shy, as you can tell.
So a bit of an introvert.
Yeah, a little bit of an introvert. So so the night before we actually did this, we had one of our operations managers come into town, and we got into this like whole role playing thing, which again, there's some fundamental things that everybody should be doing. And one of those, I think, in your business, you should absolutely be role playing, whether you have a call center, whether you have servers on a floor, your detailer selling detailing services. I think it's really important that you introduce, and it's not a one-time, one and done thing, but at the end of that video, there's more video that we shot when it was like, Scott turns around and he's like, okay, now you guys sell me, and he's like, he's sitting there and he's like, you guys tell me, take what I just taught you and you guys sell me, you guys. And so sure enough, Tim rolled him through it, and Tim did a great job. He might have missed a point here or there, but God, it's the fact that he did it. And you know what? The next time, and the next time, and the next time, and imagine you get to make those small mistakes when there's no consequence, there's no sale in front of you, right? It's appreciated.
No two are the same. No two are exactly the same.
No, and so we got into this thing before we were talking about objection overcoming, and that's another huge part of the sales dynamic, and that's where a lot of people crumble. And again, back to role playing, back to scripting, whatever business you have, I think it's important that when it comes down to that sales process, and as you in life, and I don't care if you started yesterday and you're going to sell the first widget that you have today, if you go out there and somebody hits you, those questions that get asked, it's your job to then internalize that and then make sure you have the right response for the future. And I'll give you an example of that. We use a sales deck, right? And I've been using a sales deck for years and years when it comes to actually selling franchise locations, or it comes to selling into actual buildings and things like that. And it's a pretty clean and simple sales deck. And Scott was on the first time he's ever seen me roll through it, going back a year. And I rolled through the sales deck. And as I get into like slide 2, they start asking me questions. And the whole reason we use a sales deck, and it's just literally, it's a flip chart. And it's visual, but it's got a few points on each one. But those points are actually triggers for me that when I see that, I know what to say. So, and if you actually build your sales deck well enough, then you'll answer all their questions. So we're in like slide 2, I get the question, I start getting questions. And my response literally was, you know what? I actually designed this just for you. And if you just give me a few moments, I almost guarantee I'll answer any question that you have. And then at the end, let's ask away and we can talk and we can free flow and we'll figure it out. So one, I took control of the sales situation, because again, what happens, and I've seen young sales folks, one, if you don't use a tool and you don't have kind of the points that you're going to hit at the very least, even if you don't have a sales deck to flip through, but if you don't have your points that you're going to make, all of a sudden they ask you 5 questions, you're over here and you're swimming in quagmire and you can never get back. So one, I kept the thing on track. And by the end, they were like, no, you're right. You answered all of our questions. Yeah. So I think it's important, but my point was about objections. Anytime you run into an objection, write it down. Like just have a sheet of paper somewhere and just write down objection. Okay. Man, they beat me up on, how well our people are trained. Right. Well, we have a response. Well, our folks receive over 100 hours of training, everything from customer service to actually how to use, detailed complex tools. Again, establishing our predominance, our training, the second largest investment that people make besides their home is their vehicle. For them to go and turn the keys over, to that $100,000 vehicle, there has to be some faith and trust built, and you have a very short window to do it. So, the objections, and that's just one objection. Scott, let's talk about some objections. So what if Tim said, he didn't have enough time, right? So the 3 questions were, can I get your name? Can I get your phone number? And how much time do you have? So, what would you say if Tim was like, it's an hour and a half service and, Tim's like, I have about, an hour. I'm running into the shoe store and I'm going to hit another place. I only have an hour. What else you got for me?
So time is everybody's biggest. It's what they value the most, right? So what we want to do is we want to find a better time when he is available to be able to bring his vehicle back, so we can do a thorough service on it, right? We don't want to take it in. We don't want to do it halfway, take half measures with it. We want to explain to them that in order to perform that service, this is how much time it takes. Find out when they have time. And in this situation, we always want to make sure that we get their information and get them scheduled, okay? And in addition to that, because we were unable to meet their needs, perhaps we want to give them an extra incentive to ensure that they will return, like having our customer service folks apply a small discount or some sort of a discount to that service because we weren't able to meet their needs today. And then the folks in the field, when they're looking and they're slating out their day, when they see those names, there's no reason in the world they shouldn't be following up with that individual, especially if they were the ones that interacted with him to begin with. Hi, Tim, Scott with Prana Wash. Again, just wanted to, I know I got you on my calendar today for 3 o'clock. Looking forward to seeing you there. Just wanted to go ahead and confirm that, make sure that you're coming through. Every single person, should feel valued, right? The art of customer service is not dead. We are not just a car wash. We provide a concierge service, and we need to keep that in mind, right? That we're so much more than just a people that are there to wipe dirt off your vehicle, right? It's an entire service. It's the entire service experience, and that's really what drives our business.
Yeah, excellent. Yeah. What are some other good spitball aversions that you see? What are so time is one.
Price.
Price. I mean, what
Price.
do you do? You know, oh,
Yeah,
I'm gonna give
I
you
don't know.
I'm gonna give you $50 for that. You know, it's $150 service. I'll give you
Yeah.
that sounds good. I'll give you $50.
Again, this goes back to when I was talking before about the idea of price uncertainty, right? People come into, no matter what it is, having a perception of what they should pay, right? Now, if we have done our job well enough and we have introduced each of our value propositions in whatever it is that we're selling them, then price should not be a consideration, right? If the person comes, oh geez, 150, if they're hemming and hawing over $150 for a full detail, we need to take the price objection out of it and go back to talking about what it is that we're going to provide. Totally understand what you mean. Let me just revamp and tell you, a couple of things that we're going to do with that. We're going to go ahead and take care of these spots that you have here. I noticed, you're, again, perhaps I didn't explain it all. I see that you got a little bit of cracking on your seats. Let me tell you about our product, all right? Our leather vinyl protectant is our own product. It's made by us. It's proprietary, so we know that it's the best. What it does, unlike other products, instead of just going on there and pooling on it, what it does is actually absorbs into your seats. So a lot of that damage that you have right there, we're going to take care of that today with your service. Talk about our products. Talk about the service. Ignore the price. Okay. If it's really, really a final price, if it's a price inhibitor or a price objection that they're having, then sell them whatever they want. Because again, at the end of the day, what we don't want to do is we don't want to challenge, especially if it's an existing customer. We don't want to challenge existing customers. Okay. It's going to piss them off. It's going to give them, a bad taste in their mouth. So we sell them whatever's comfortable with them. Perhaps they only have $59. So we're going to sell them the $59 service, right? But normally when it's a price objection and you know damn well that what they're looking for is some sort of a discount or some sort of a deal, get them out of that mindset. It's best to go back to our products, our service, getting them re-excited about, oh my God, the wheels right now, the way they look, they're all dusty. Don't worry about it. When they come out, they're going to look fire. They're going to look absolutely amazing. You're going to be able to look and see a reflection of them. All I need to get you started is just your name and number.
Yeah, another good one. It's funny because I know you're he's like the opposite of discount. Like Scott and discount usually are not ever mentioned. And
I call it the handsome man discount. One of the biggest mistakes that one can make is giving a discount for the sake of discounting, right? It's one thing to say, I have a promotion, I have something here that I'm sorry I wasn't able to meet your needs today. We're going to go ahead and give you a 10% discount off your service that we're going to schedule you for tomorrow because we weren't able to meet your needs today. That in my mind is money well spent, okay? But what you get too much in a lot of other places, and especially especially folks that aren't very familiar with with conducting business, new businesses, new food trucks, things like that are prone to do that. Somebody's like, I don't know, man. $7.95 for the sandwich, dude. I'll give you $5 cash, and they go, all right. What you don't realize is how much damage that is a form of discounting and how much damage that does to your business. Yes, you just took in $5 today and you're thinking, hey, 6 in the bush, or 2 in the bush or whatever the saying is, I forgot. But you know what I'm saying? You're saying, I'm taking in that money today. But that guy is going to go and probably tell 12 other people, oh, dude, just go and tell him you'll give him $5. He'll give you $5 for it. And you have just diminished the value of your business, not only in that individual's eyes and everyone else that he's about to tell. So if you undervalue your business, you undervalue yourself, you're not going to be in business very long. So that's my issue with, it's not with discounting overall. It's I call it the handsome man discount. Hey, I'm a handsome man, give me a discount, right? Those are the worst kind of discounts you can get or let a customer essentially get over on you. You just lost more than just a sale, right? You lost face, you lost value in your business. You did a lot more damage than you think you just did.
Yeah, another one, another good strategy that I don't think people pull out enough So say you have that guy and it's the $150 service, and, I mean, in that case, the guy's driving an X8, I think he's got the $150 somewhere.
Right.
Right. It's like, again, come on, the guy's got, $1,000 pair of shoes on.
Right.
So, another thing, sometimes, people like to negotiate, and certain types of people love, they negotiate everything.
Love
So they're what they're really looking for is a win. So, another version of a win would be to actually do something instead of discounting, right? Now you're giving away, is to add on a premium, right? So he said, you know what, I get that that's a concern of yours. We're going to do this, this, this. You do everything that Scott said first, and and you say, you know what, how about this? Right? The old look around, why don't I put rain repellent on your windshield today? I'll make that thing crystal clear. It's going to last forever, and we all know, if you're in the industry, it's not as much as the retail, cost, and even compared to maybe giving 10% off, right? You give 10% off $150 service, that's $15. I may give away a $5, upsell, or, maybe you have some tchotchke stuff. I got a trunk organizer, back here, have something, what, I'm going to do something special for you,
That's
that
good.
type of thing,
Yeah.
or even, on that guy that didn't have the time. So another good strategy is, so we do mobile, we're big in mobile. And the other thing is to go to them. I mean, that's one of the biggest things that we see these days is somebody's tight on time. They're busy. It's in their brain. You've already done the sale. Now the objection is really time, which neither one of you can control. So, you know what, sir? How about I send one of our mobile vehicles out to your house? They'll actually probably spend a little bit extra time on it for you, and we'll make sure it's perfect. And you know what I'll do? I'll give you 10% off your wife's car when we're out there.
Yeah.
Now I just took, $150 sale and made it a $300 sale, minus the $15 for the discount, and boom, I'm at my rate for that truck for those few hours. The other thing, I see big.
Can I tag onto that just for a second?
Yeah, of course.
So that's really, really good. I'm sorry, I don't want to step on you.
No.
But that's one of the best things that we can also do, and we used to do this from one of our locations here, is that we were in a very heavy office place, right? We were in a very a heavily commercial area. So one of the best things is to ask if you can do it at their office. Well, if you don't mind me asking, where do you work? Oh, I work at this accounting firm. I can get a mobile guy out there today. And you know what else I'm going to do? Anybody else that wants to get their vehicle done, since we're already going to be out there, ask the folks around the office. I'll give you the 10%, and anybody else that wants to come out and get 10% off, and we'll do them on the spot tomorrow, first thing tomorrow morning. And now you're turning that into 10 more, right? You want it done at your house? Any of your neighbors that need it done, we're going to give them 10% too. Mention it to them. I'm only doing it tomorrow, but we're going to go ahead and I'm going to make sure that our customer service puts it in, in some official form in our back office, make it sound like it's some big deal that you just did. I'm going to go ahead and authorize it and approve it. I'm going to get in there, and anybody in your neighborhood that wants their vehicle done tomorrow, we're going to give them all 10%. Yeah,
how about this? You're that guy, right? Hey, you tell them when they call in to book their appointment, just tell them that they know Scott Wyler. Right now, all of a sudden, you're the man. You're you're going home. You're knocking on doors.
Yeah.
Right. Hey, Bob.
Right.
That car looks like shit. Yeah. I got the guys coming tomorrow. You want me to send them by? You get the Scott Wyler. The 10% off. The handsome, the good-looking guy discount.
Yeah. Exactly.
That's a great stopping point for us as we come to the hour. Hey, Scott, I love you like a brother.
You too, brother.
Mother. I hope everybody really enjoyed it. We're gonna get this. We'll get this produced and put out for everybody. And I see some more future conversations with Scott. Coming up. We got to turn it into business and beer and move this thing to Friday at 5.
It's dangerous, but okay.
Yeah,
if anybody has questions or comments or anything, go ahead and put them in the comment section down below. And I'll if you want to follow up with me, you can tag me in it, and I will I'll be glad to answer any questions or follow up and try and get your questions answered.
Yeah, and if anybody, Scott's a man of many talents. If Scott's the type of voice you like and you're looking for some help, he does a lot of great work, a lot of great consulting. What's a good email address for you, Scott?
Yeah, best email address for me is SWY like Yankee, LER at Achilles, ACHILLES dash capital.com. So it's ACHILLES dash CAPITAL.com. And if you send me an email, if you have questions or anything, I promise I will get back to you. You know, if you need additional help or you need a phone conversation, I'm open. We can do that.
Great. Awesome. You guys know how to get a hold of me. So Jonathan at any URL on the planet seems to work. Pronto Watch, my success system hub. The Pronto Nation, that's the new one coming around, Scott.
Here we go. Love it.
Well, again, sir, I appreciate you. I salute you. I appreciate you taking the time.
Appreciate you.
Great knowledge and excellent job on the video. I'm going to ship it out now to Fiverr and tell them to take out all the background noise.
Sounds awesome. Thanks. Thanks for having me on, and thanks for everybody that joined.
Yeah, thank you, folks.
Take care.